You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include classism, environmental collapse, apocalypse, climate disaster, complex relationships, swarms, fantasy violence, blood, guns as weaponry, and youth in dangerous situations. Arc 4, Episode 23. No Hope to Mend. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang.
Notes on Havens. Entry 311. It is well known that one of the first things Buta Erebor did upon becoming Lord of Keseki was purchase Hyoga Keep. This was widely regarded as a controversial decision, or, as Libra puts it, a dick move. Hyoga Keep is, of course, one of the most famous locations not only in the prefecture of Sumatai, but the entire planet itself. It was one of the few relics that survived the tumultuous Ten Lords period of classical Keseki, a sprawling castle complex that towered at the base of Mount Shinsei, the highest peak in the volcanic mountain range of Yaminoba. As it turns out, laws did very little to prevent the newly minted planetary lord from buying a protected heritage site and utilizing it as his own private residence. Buta Erebor permanently closed the grounds to visitors, including the very locals who had maintained its buildings and stewarded its lands for centuries. He refurbished the entire complex to suit his own personal tastes and, most notably, renamed it. Hyoga Castle became the Erebor Estate, and the Erebor Estate became the seat of power for the Lord of Keseki. This humble archivist has always wanted to visit the Erebor Estate, both as a site of historic importance and as a reminder of why she pursues the mission that she does. And as it turns out, in a most serendipitous twist of fate, this garden that her team is in pursuit of is, in fact, this very estate. It is undeniable. All of the details align. The location of the garden in the northernmost reaches of Sumatai, the positioning of Mount Shinsei behind it, the fact that Samishi and presumably Buta himself currently reside there, and the details of the garden's architectural appearance that this humble archivist now feasts her eyes upon by manner of Libra's spyglass. Before the apocalypse, the foothills of Mount Shinsei bristled with crimson grass and stately cedars and pine trees that glowed in vivid neon hues at nighttime. But now, the luscious grounds that once surrounded the Erebor Estate are in a state of desiccation and decay. Thick mounds of dust cover every inch of the basin before this archivist's very eyes. Except for the road. Why, yes, the road. A stone path, wide and clear of dust and quite well maintained. It stretches for a couple of miles toward the main gate of the Erebor Estate, a towering set of south-facing doors hewn from sturdy wood and reinforced with iron struts, tough coils of hempen rope, and cedar shingles. An outer wall extends from either side of this gate. This wall is built from securely stacked layers of brick and stone and topped with ceramic tile, but there are other materials that comprise this wall as well. Titanium plating, sturdy metal struts, even what appears to be some sort of glossy chrome coating in various places. these supplementary materials appear to reinforce the pre-existing wall, as well as patch up areas that seem to have maybe broken down or caved in some time ago. Either way, this mighty outer wall encircles the entirety of Buta Ereber's estate, and is so tall that it blocks this humble archivist's view of the undoubtedly magnificent interior. But there is one element within this estate that is even taller than the outer walls, and as a result is visible from this archivist's vantage point. The main keep. A tall, multi-level pavilion with tiled roofs and stone spires, just as one would expect, but there are other things too. Solar panels. Lots of them gleaming on every spare inch. Wind turbines too, small but numerous, their blades spinning furiously at their impressive altitude. And also a rather large assortment of luminous tarpaulins, it appears, fluttering about in the breeze, quite colorful and shiny, as well as structures wrought from translucent panels of glass? Or maybe it's plastic, or possibly a polycarbonate compound of some sort. This is what this humble archivist sees of the Ereber estate, of the garden. Saral Temin lowers the spyglass from their eye and breathlessly hands it back to Libra Dunnan. Despite Saral's detailed verbal report, Libra presses the glass against their own eye, determined to draw their own conclusions about this garden that looms a few miles before them. Libra scans the paved road that stretches a couple of miles from where you stand now, all the way to the main gates of the Ereber estate. They scan the vast field of dust and dead trees and gnarled stones that flank either side of this road and also surround the outer walls of the garden. They scan the huge volcano that looms in the northern distance, Mount Shinsei, whose glacial peaks have long since evaporated and are now replaced by endless mounds of gray dust. Finally, Libra lowers the spyglass and hands it to Zinnia, with a touch more frostiness than usual. Saral's right. Road's clear. I don't see anything out of the ordinary, but that doesn't mean there's nothing out of the ordinary ahead of us. We're gonna have to get closer to be sure. Zinnia, how do you respond to finally seeing the garden with your own eyes?
I think there is shock initially. Not at the fact that the garden is real. It was something they heard from somebody else. It is the scale, the scope, the beauty of it that is actually sort of off-putting in a way. I think there is almost a disbelief. And I think they even look back at some of the other members of the Tears, sort of confirming, like, this is the garden, right? And I assume that feeling isn't one that is unique to Zinnia alone in the Tears.
Definitely not. You see various looks of similar shock, surprise, excitement when it comes to Saral, deep curiosity and fascination when it comes to Dr. Yvonne Wu, wariness, like this is a trap, because everything is a trap for Libra, the scout. Unbridled enthusiasm from Bug, who has never seen walls this tall, has no idea what a solar panel is, and looked very gobsmacked and confused when Saral began yammering on about wind turbines and tarpaulins. Nose Mama is of course indifferent, snuffing around the ground in search of grubs and other moisture-ridden things. Begoon crosses muscled arms over his chest, somewhere between hopefulness and wariness, between where Saral rests and where Libra rests. As for Ozzel, their eye is fixed on that wall as though it contains everything they've ever done anything for. Not at the wall, but at the promise beyond it. Their target. It just looks like another obstacle they'll have to surpass to get what they want. We pan across the tiers who take this in to find Strike Team Nova also taking this in. Let's start with you, Seir. How are you responding to finally seeing the garden with your own two eyes?
Seir is hungry for information and is drinking every ounce of the visual of this garden. I think, if you will allow, Connie, I think Bug is sat on top of Seir's shoulders.
Yes, absolutely.
And as Seir's like holding on to their legs and is looking across from this this incredible sight, Seir's looking for every suspicion. He is looking for every answer. Bodies maybe littering around near the walls to see if there's an active movement, perhaps a sound of metal, of an active compound of highly trained warriors. That's all he's paying attention to, is what is this place really? We know nothing about the Erebers. And as Soral's incredibly insightful observations are helpful, Seir wants his own answers. And he kind of taps Bug's foot and goes, "What do you see?"
I don't really see anything without Libra's glass, but apparently there's sheets.
Polycarbonate
So I
sheets.
see that.
Yeah, it's your first time seeing a big wall like this, huh?
Yeah, it's so tall. Even from here, we can tell how tall it is. We can only kind of see that building deeper in. I want to go in.
I'm hearing from your tone that you are not afraid, which is going to be my next question.
Why would I be scared?
Some people are scared of what they don't know.
Well, I'm not.
And we pan away from you and Bug to find Lumièra next to you. Lumièra, how are you taking in the garden?
Lumièra's doing the typical Lumièra thing where her eyes are bouncing everywhere at once. It's almost it almost looks frantic, but if you know her, you know she's cataloging this information as soon as her eyes land on it, and it's staying there visually exactly where it's at. She doesn't say much. She just looks around, doesn't really move much from her spot either, outside of teetering around other members of the tiers, trying to deduce her own ideas and what she can see, using Soral's observations as base.
Based on everything Soral has been saying, as well as your own visual confirmation, it's very accurate to see what you compare to what you're seeing with your own eyes. You can see the glimmering of something shiny in the distance on the roof of what Soral has identified as the main keep. But from this distance, several miles off, it could be anything. Maybe the sun's light catching one of those solar panels Soral pointed out, or one of those gossamer-like chromatic tarpaulin sheets, whatever that might be. Could be anything. You'll definitely have to get closer to be sure. We pan across where you're observing to find Xainan. Xainan, how are you taking in the garden and its walls?
Xainan has been distant as we've crested the last of Mount Shinsei. He's been trying to mostly just be here. But as Soral begins to describe the garden, and he soaks it in, two feelings intertwine that he wasn't prepared for. The first one, he was a little. Admiration. This is a facility that If he had had half of this when he was here, he can only imagine what he could have done with working wind turbines, solar panels that were actually getting anything from the sun. It's impressive. He's thought about these kinds of things even long after leaving Keseki. And so to see it here in such a grand scale shows the promise of something that he's more than a little curious about. And the other feeling is, again, that lingering sense of home, of this old building that is so intrinsically a part of Keseki that he's never thought of and probably hasn't even heard of, but intertwined with technology that is familiar. Wind turbines make sense to him. They had one at Lodestar. He understands this reuse of something old into something useful. And in that way, it feels like being home. And that pull and that love bloom inside of him as he sees this place. And he tries to not let it take the shape of hope, because hope right now, oh, it hurts.
Zinnia. Jack, whose reaction is very similar to Begun's, somewhere in the middle of optimism and trepidation, places the tips of their fingers gently on your shoulder to get your attention. And they say to you, "What do you think we should do?"
I was actually about to ask all y'all the same thing. And I think Zinnia sort of gestures for the rest of the tiers to come together in like a little huddle, little mini meeting.
They do.
So, looks like we are finally here. I'm thinking we should scout. I don't necessarily want everybody up there, up close, in case there is a trap or anything laid out for us.
There are reasonable nods all around. This sounds like a sound and solid way to move forward. Even Libra, who's been giving you the cold shoulder as of late, is reluctantly gritting their teeth and nodding along to this suggestion. And then a gravelly voice cuts in, not a part of the huddle, but clearly having overheard your suggestion. Azalis Raid says,
"No. There's a road and a gate. We take it. Fastest way to get somewhere is a straight line."
That's exactly what they could be waiting for. They know
We'll
that
be
we
ready.
exist.
We have
I don't know if
guns.
we will be. I like gesture to it to showcase the size of it. Do you see the scouting party they had? You seen the weapons they had? If that is the ones they are willing to send out, who knows how many are back here?
We've waited for too long. We strike while the iron's hot.
"Well, hold on, Hazel. The iron's going to be hot for a little bit longer. I think Zinnia raises a fair point. And Libra, wouldn't you like to scout ahead and know things as well?" "Well, yeah, I guess, I guess Zinnia's plan makes the most sense. I do understand the urgency of the situation, Azalis, but we gotta go in prepared." Azo looks around, sees that they are clearly outvoted by their own crew. They spit on the ground and turn around, showing their back to you.
Fine. Do what you want.
I think Zinnia, not trying to necessarily kick the hornet's nest, but in a genuine ask, would you like to be part of the scouting party?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, who else wants to scout? Zinnia shoots a look at Libra that is as much as pleading as they can, both for this not to be a fight, but they know the best scout in the tiers.
And Libra responds by looking at your somewhat appeasing look. They scowl, but they do reply in the affirmative. "Obviously I'm going. I mean, you all would be shit out of luck without me. And, Begun, we could really use you, too, in case some shit goes down."
Yeah, of course, I'll come with. Jack steps forward. I'm coming too.
But then an old pain twinges at her gut, reflexively, and Bagoon places a hand on her shoulder.
I get it, Jack, but you're still recovering. Honestly, you should stay back with everyone else. Keep them safe. No, I'm fine. I can do it.
Oh, come on, Jack. You're just gonna get in the way.
Jack shoots Libra a sharp look, but for some reason, Libra's observation is what compels them the most. If there's one thing Jack doesn't want to be, it is a burden. So they grit their teeth, nod, and take a step back. Bagoon claps his broad hands together with a smile. So, it's gonna be you, Zinnia, me, Ozzel, and Libra. Jack, Dr. Wu, and Saral, oh, and Bug. With Nose Mama, why don't the rest of you stay behind? Keep an eye on things here in case things do go south up there. Dr. Wu nods. She was certainly not going to volunteer herself to be part of the scouting party, and is currently leaning against the large armored flank of Nose Mama, who also seems quite content to stay in one place. Bug, aboard Seir's shoulders, overhears this and whips its head in your direction, Zinnia, and you see big puppy dog eyes, pleading eyes.
I think Zinnia looks to Bagoon for a second of like, I might need you to back me up on this. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dog.
It's all good. Just in the distance, a little puppy dog barking, but you can just keep going
okay,
after they're done.
perfect. Okay. But after looking to Bagoon just for backup, Zinnia sort of looks at Bug, almost sympathetically. Bug, I understand you've been training with Seir, right?
Yeah, I can fight really good now.
What if they have guns?
What? Then I'll just disarm him.
I'll tell you what. I think it would be best if you and hopefully Seir can help keep camp safe.
Seir already is like tapping the shin of Bug on his shoulder. And Seir, as you're making this explanation, Zinnia, like a well-trained trans recruit, Seir's already nodding. Seir was already on the same page with you. He was already suspecting that this would be the case. There was a tiny moment where he's nodding, preparing, thinking of how to deploy with all of you, but this reality brings him back, and Seir taps Bug. Cricket?
I'm ready, right? Right? You've seen me. I've made really good progress. I can take care of
You are.
myself. I can help.
You can help, and you're going to help me. I'll stay back. If something happens back at camp to Dr. Wu and anybody else, and we are both gone, what happens to them? What happens to Nose Mama?
And Bagoon says, joining this tide of people trying to convince Bug to do the sensible thing, Nose Mama needs you. You can't just leave her behind, right?
Okay, fine. If you're staying behind too, then I'll be Seir's backup.
I'm counting on you.
Zinnia shoots Seir almost a little like salute real quick of thank you both for having Bugs back and the rest of the camp.
Seir nods, and it's a very deferential nod, like one would do to the leader of a strike team.
On that moment of eye contact, we pan back to you, Seir. For as while Zinnia and the Tears were putting together this plan, there had been a moment for you to connect with the rest of your strike team about what you want to do to proceed as well.
Seir, in this moment, is uncertain on what to do. I think we see Seir like pacing with something in his arm. It is wrapped in some sort of canvas and thick rope. It is this long implement, and it seems to be curved on either side. And Seir's just kind of like holding it heavily in his hand, pacing, glances at it, and muttering to himself, I haven't even found time to give them this. Gotta be alone. Gotta do what Artemis did. Have a whole thing about it. It's not the time. And Seir stops and looks at the other members of Nova and is going to... What are the rest of Nova doing? Does Xainan, Yinghe, Lumièra look preoccupied? Let's use that word.
I'm gonna let the rest of Nova answer.
Oh,
Yeah. We want to know what the rest of Nova are doing.
listen, Xainan's back in the back kicking rocks.
Jesus fucking Christ, Kai.
Yeah, I don't. That's not a. Maybe. Yeah. Seir goes to Lumièra. I think there's a moment where Seir
think there's
eyes glance
We-
over to Xainan kicking rocks, and it's just like, no.
Yeah, there's a moment where I think Lumièra peeps it and is watching you and watches your eyes dart to Xainan and just rolls and goes, and Lumièra's already looking at you intently.
You would see that he saw the exchange between the tiers and is just like he has decided to be fascinated by the ground in this moment.
And the last thing I want to do is speak to a Xainan who's more fascinated with the ground than something impending upon us, honestly.
Useful.
And I think Seir walks on over to you, and Lumièra, you see that Seir's got these wraps around his arms. He's been having growing wraps around his arms as if he's been using them, and you've heard him use his hands to do something heavy duty every night. And as he walks on over, you hear the jingle jangle of metal on whatever thing he is carrying on his back. And as he kind of pulls it off and sets onto the ground, he goes, "Can I sit here?"
You don't even have to ask.
He sits, looks at you, and says, "So, what are you making of all this? Our situation, I mean, and what we're about to do."
Lumièra kind of looks briefly at the tears. You and Bugs seem to be getting kind of close. Mentorship looks good on you.
Seir looks at you into your eyes and sees the confirmation and the sincerity in your observation. Kind of chuckles a little bit and says, "They're a good kid. They eager, keen, honest. Hard to be a kid in the apocalypse."
Yeah, I can imagine. So I got some info earlier, and it's a bit more than what we've ever gotten yet.
How much more?
About the Lords. There's a couple of things that were really interesting that I noticed. I think Cyril said something about a pirate. The gentleman pirate, Lord Iago. It's kind of a dick, from what I've
A
heard.
recurring trend.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, but the thing that was the most interesting about it is the fact that this ruthless asshole, the logo of his group was the same one that was on the Apani Kestrel that we got from Dom. Right.
Seems like Dom's leading a complicated life.
Just like Ozil.
Just like Xainan.
Lumièra scoffs. Eyes rolled.
Lumièra, you didn't answer my question.
Would it...
And Seir's gears start turning in their head. They look over to you. And there's a moment in Seir's chest where his heart races anxiously. He feels Damocles' blade hovering and swinging in the air, wondering why you wouldn't answer, whether you don't trust him. And Seir shakes his head, pushes past it, grips his thigh as he turns his entire form towards you. He says, I wanted to know about what you think about us going to the garden, especially when the tiers are not exactly aligned on how they want to execute things.
Suddenly the ground is a bit interesting to Lumièra as well. She kind of fiddles with her pocket watch and the fringes on the sides of her arms for a bit, looking up towards Xainan, back into the horizon where the garden is, back over to the tears of Fiumi, and then back to us again. And she will then proceed to give you more information about the lords.
Seir sees you look at the ground and like really, really feels this. Why are you doing that? You know, and there's all the memories of every single conversation Seir, no last name, has ever had with Xainan Esch. And Seir, I think, like, here's your explanation about the lords. And he goes, Mira, look,
She softens.
I don't know what I'm doing. We came here, right, to help Xainan. This is Xainan's mission, right? And we came here to save Ozili's raid. And then he looks over to wherever Ozili's raid is standing and goes, that one does not need saving.
No.
So,
not even in the slightest.
Not even in the slightest. And I can't help but feel that we, Nova, on a micro and macro scale, have an opportunity to help, to do something, to contribute. But I don't know how we all feel about the garden, about the Tears' mission, about Ozili's mission, right? What if something breaks out like the Dust Storm fight?
And she looks at you. You can tell that she's hearing you, but she pushes past it. Listen, this is way out of our league here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The closest thing that we have right now to anything remotely, anything Kaseki that I genuinely trust is Xainan. I would... And she looks over to him. He wouldn't put us in something that would legitimately harm us, right? Like, it's a lot, Seir, okay? It's a lot. And I don't, and she kind of gets up, flustered a bit, very not normal for Lumièra. She's unraveling at the seams and you can see it.
Hey. And Seir gets up with you and like stands by you. He sees your eyes. What do your eyes tell me?
Everything. They are wild, they are frantic, they are unsure. Glazed over, wide and scared. In a way that she typically doesn't show. She doesn't have an answer. She doesn't know what to do. She's just barely spinning plates right now. Xainan's kind of her only lifeline in this right now. So she's clinging to it. And you can see it.
And an old conversation with a one Professor Fuego of Inferno comes surging into Seir's mind. This whole time he's talking about this like he's Nova's protector. Like he is Lumièra's protector. Like he is Strike Team Nova's bulwark. And he sees the panic and franticness in your eyes. And we see Seir nod, keeping your gaze, and closes the distance a little bit as he says, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to put it all on you. You're just the smartest person I know. And I want always to know what Lumièra thinks of things. I don't have the answers. I don't think any of us are. I just like hearing your thoughts and feelings.
Lumièra softens even more, just a bit, briefly. And just as quick as you saw her melt, you see her freeze back up again. Well, I don't have an answer, so
all right,
we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna go see what Xainan thinks. And she gets up, looks back at you, pats your shoulder, and will walk her way over towards Xainan.
As you do
Xainan
that,
Esch.
say, sorry,
Go
if I
ahead.
may. As you do that, Seir traces his fingers on yours as you walk away from him. And Seir crosses his arms and just says, loud enough for only him and Doom to hear. Why do you sound like Xainan?
Xainan Esch, while Lumièra and Seir were conferring, you have been very intensely observing the ground. What is going through your mind?
Ever since that particular foraging outing, Xainan has been stuck in a bit of a pickle. To open up and try to talk to Azal, he had to break open a door that its hinges had rusted closed. It had kept him safe. A decade of that safety just kicked open for nothing. And that hopelessness. Oof. It pulls him down and down and down, and he's lost. He is surrounded by Nova, by the tears. He is home on Keseki, and he has never felt more lost in his entire life. So, he's been keeping his distance from Azal, trying to be helpful where he can, quiet. But it's hard, because now the problem is that those doors are open, and a bunch of things just keep rushing out, these feelings, this torrent that he wasn't ready for, because there's nowhere to put it. He can't just give it to somebody else. And Azal doesn't want it quite clearly, so he is just trying to figure out what to do with it next. He's trying to make good on what he said to Azal, see them through to the end of their mission, make sure they have something next, and then fate knows. Or I guess oblivion, up in the sky, watching everything we do. So, he watches the tears talk. He sees Azal probably going on the scouting mission, even though he would have gone on the scouting mission. He is the scout of Strike Team Nova. But he's trying to give them space, so he is going to, kick rocks, hold down the dirt here with Seir and Bug, and send Lumièra, send Yingke. I'm sure they're fine, but we don't know what will happen, so there's also that creeping anxiety of if the bulwark can't go, if he can't go, does he trust the tears enough? If physical combat breaks out, is that enough? And down that spiral he goes until he arrives back on the same thing that came flooding out that he didn't want. That somehow, in the last few months with Nova, it got stuck somewhere back in there with all the pain and the heartache that he sealed away. Because the Lodestar was home. It wasn't just where he grew up, where he was born, where his parents were. It was where he had his family with his partners, where he had Doxa, and they had everything. The entire world was there. And there was a conversation that he had where this door cracked open just a little. And the feeling of that crack when he told Singh about Doxa, something got in. Because on the trip in the Wild Sea, he also learned something very pivotal that felt impossible. Which is on Strike Team Nova, there is one person who could rewrite time. And in that despair of Azal closing the door, one terrible but inevitable thought got in, and it's now broken out. And he has done everything in his power to ignore it, to shove it down. But seeing Lumièra and Seir plan, all he can think about is that look on Lumièra's face when we found her in the storm. And when we asked her where she had been, she said the past. When Keseki was green. And that terrible thought, it has such a beautiful sound. But he knows that right now, the only thing that he would save would be for himself. Maybe he could find this Azalis that he's fairly certain would be kinder, maybe a more active and helpful member of the Tears of Fuyumi, instead of this cold, focused, sight on a rifle. The person that he knew was like honey binding together sweet bread. They brought everyone together. Hell, the four of them, the way they were when they were home, if only they were here. Dom with his common sense. Pyrrha able to bring everyone forward with a good plan that made sense. Even Xainan when he was younger. Less broken by all of this. But the one that he really wishes he could bring for everyone is the person he came here to save. The Azalis raid that maybe is gone now. But he's still hoping that they're in there somewhere.
Zinnia. As the Tears plan comes together, Bug rejoining your group as well, having hopped off of Seir's shoulders as he went to talk to Lumièra, you notice Lumièra standing up, moving away from Seir, moving with purpose toward where Xainan Esch has been quite literally kicking rocks. You notice her movement, you see the look on her face. Lumièra, what is the look on your face that draws Zinnia's attention to you in this moment?
Focus. Determination. Hint of inquisitiveness. But stern, solid.
And Zinnia, you see Lumièra begin to approach Xainan, a dynamic you have observed over the course of these 2 weeks of travel. Do you try to speak to Lumièra now before she reaches him, or do you wait for them to touch base first?
I'll intercept now.
Okay.
Hey, Lumièra.
Zinnia, hey. What do you need?
I was wondering, do y'all have a plan of attack for the garden? I don't know if you heard ours.
She freezes. Her eyes get wide just for a moment and then focus right back. I'm still figuring out the iron bits and pieces. If you give me a minute, I can get back to you with something more concrete. Sound good?
Sure, but if you need any input, I can offer some. Kind of wait and see if there's any expression or any change to your face in this moment.
Her eyebrow quirks. That's about all you get. Input.
Sorry, my dog again.
No, it's totally fine. Well, what do you think is the best plan of action?
Well, Seir's going to be back with Bug at camp. I know Jack is going to be back there too. I have no idea what Xainan's doing, so he'd be useful either way, but I know you, or at least I've seen you're not a fighter.
No. Not necessarily, or in the way that one would think.
I think Zinnia's eyebrow sort of moves up just enough. Curious about what you're hiding with your magic.
You won't get more. That's all she says.
Good.
Oh, Xainan typically is our scout, but she kind of glances back over at him again. If I'm being honest, I don't necessarily trust it if Osel is going along, so your options are me or Yinghe. Yinghe is capable, yes, but he hasn't been doing this as long as we have.
Yeah. I think when you mention Osel, Zinnia's mouth twitches as if they want to ask. And I think against their better judgment in this moment, because knowing every factor right before we head into the garden, it will be. You got some with Osel?
No, not at all. The thing is, Xainan's a bit preoccupied.
Oh, I know.
And that preoccupation has a lot to do with Osel. So, do I 100% trust that he would be on his P's and Q's in the middle of an important mission that is more than likely life-threatening without the looming presence of... And her eyes glare up to that big black hole in the sky, then looks down at Xainan again, back over at Osel, almost like she's reassessing the situation and their surroundings. Tell you what, I'll go with you.
All right, you cool with Yinghe in the back? At camp?
And then she looks at Yinghe and Seir, and then Xainan again. Yeah. If Seir is there, everything's fine.
She notices that. All right, sounds good. Appreciate that. You seem to be the one who has their head on the most straight when it comes to your team, so felt right to ask you.
She smiles, just barely. Yeah, okay. Well, whenever you're ready to go, let me just go reconvene back with them. And, come get me when you need me.
Okay. If things go south, stick behind me.
Okay. And she says that, almost as if, the way she says it is like, "Oh, are you behind me?" But she doesn't say it out loud.
Oh.
She walks over
Zinnia
to
picked up
Xainan.
on it.
Mira, you approach Xainan, who, as you draw closer, Xainan, this is the same moment where that idea has slipped through that crack in that door with rusted hinges you had broken open for Azulis Raid, for the purpose of helping, of saving Azulis Raid. And now that that idea has wormed its way into your head, you can feel the roots spreading through the old soil of your body.
No.
And you see her, the genesis of it all. Lumièra, come closer.
Pop,
Hey.
listen up.
You going?
Yeah. Seir and Yinghe are gonna stay behind. I think it would be smart if you did too.
You don't need to tell me twice. I already... Listen. I'm giving them a lot of distance.
She bites her tongue. Good. Distance is good. So, with that being said, Seir and Yinghe and a couple other members of the Tiers will be back here. Pop, I need you on 10.
You don't have to worry about me.
Should I?
Aim still sharp as ever.
Okay.
I just sorting some things out.
I trust you. You'll get them sorted.
And that I trust you hits like a dagger. Straight in. And he twitches just a little sneer at the corner of his mouth. Be safe.
As always. You too.
You know me.
That's why I'm telling you.
Get out of here.
Whatever, old man. And Lumièra will walk away from Xainan back over towards the Tiers.
And as she goes, he tries to shove that thought back into a flooding dam. Because, yes, he wants it. But this is his family now. And he loves Lumièra.
And with that, alia iacta est, the die is cast. The groups are decided. In the scouting party, there is Zinnia, Libra, Azel, Begun, and Lumièra, the only member of Strike Team Nova advancing forward with the Tiers. Staying behind in, let's say, the rear guard are, of course, Dr. Wu and Saral with Nose Mama, alongside Bug, Jack, Seir, Xainan, and Yinghe. Let's start with our scouts. Zinnia. It is Libra who wayfinds for you all. Careful not to take the main road, but to arch at least a quarter mile out east, far away from this straight shot down toward the gates. Ever wary Libra, keeping their eyes peeled for any signs of an ambush that might be posted along this path, any signs of physical and technologically advanced traps that might be lying in wait. And as the scouting party moves forward, your boots shift through mounds and mounds of dust. You crouch using what little natural obstacles there are as cover, old gnarled boulders here, half-dead husks of trees there. You imagine that this place, this basin, must have once upon a time been beautiful. You can almost see the ghost of crimson tendrils of grass and tall, proud cedars and pines, but now only their blasted, broken shadows remain. You walk for quite some time, circling around, keeping your eyes peeled, pausing every now and then to exchange hands with the spyglass and sweep the magnifier around. And then it is Libra, because of course it's Libra, who spots something. They hold up a hand, spyglass up, crouching behind a large boulder, and then they lower the spyglass and point forward in the direction they were sighting. You see it too. What appears to be poking out of a hill of dust, a metal sign. You'll have to get a little bit closer to see what it reads, but Libra turns back to your group and nods solemnly. I think it's worth it if we draw closer. Try to see if we can decipher the text.
I like the way you think. Let's go.
All right. Careful as always, okay? No one make any big moves without consulting the rest of us. And with that, your party creeps ever forward until you are within, let's say, 24 feet of the sign, and the lettering becomes visible. It says, in large, bold text across the top of the sign, Erebor Launchpad Warning System. And then a series of smaller text underneath in rows. Red, danger, clear area. Flashing amber, hazardous, do not enter. Amber, enter with caution. Green, all clear. And there is a horizontal set of lights above the sign with a number of lenses corresponding with the different kinds of colors that are listed on the sign, but none of the lights are lit up. In fact, 2 of them look busted. However, unmistakably, someone has carved a circle, scratched it into the rust of the metal sign around red, danger, clear area.
I look at everyone else and I say we need to go.
Wait. It's Libra. That is obviously a shuttle launch pad sign. It stands to reason that the shuttle's gotta be out here somewhere. I don't know, maybe they put it underground. Maybe Jack should have come with. They would know if it's possible to put a shuttle underground.
Exactly why we should head back.
There are looks of trepidation around at each other, and Bagoon is the one that says, "Wait, hold on. You guys see that?" Points forward beyond the sign, and all of you see, glimmering maybe 15-20 feet to begin with, beyond where the sign stands, on the surface of these undulating piles of dust, you see something glistening. Something that looks wet. Blue. Libra breathes out in a hiss between their teeth. No fucking way. No fucking way. Is that water? Hold on. Could be a mirage. Like an oasis.
Those were going to be my exact words.
I've seen mirages before. They don't look like that. There's something different about it.
Should one of us go check it out? We'll just send one.
I'll go.
Everyone looks among each other. Oh! Libra had about to begin to volunteer, but when you do so, they cut eyes over at you. You sure?
Yeah. I'm fast. I can get in and out.
Okay, then. But, at the first sign of any trouble, get out of there.
Okay.
We'll cover you as best as we can.
Sounds good.
Lumièra, as you step forward, first approaching the sign and then stepping past it, sifting through these tall, knee to hip height mounds of dust that surround you. You can kind of hear the metal clicking of guns behind you, weapons and whatnot, as each member of the tiers prepares to draw their weapons at the first sign of trouble, but don't quite cock their guns yet. And Lumièra.
Oh, go ahead.
As you carefully move forward toward the first of, now you see several large piles or perhaps pools of whatever this glistening substance is. How do you approach? What is your method of investigation?
Smooth, slow, steady, careful. See, it's easy to forget that Lumièra was also trained by Artemis, right? She may not consistently be the first one that is always in battle, taking front in scouting missions, but she does know how to get information quietly, be in and out of places that she's not really supposed to be in. She can thank growing up with the twins for that. But she is careful and deliberate with it. You see her reach down into the side of her boot for her boot knife. It sits switchblade out at the ready, but close to her, prepped as if anything jumped out at her, her first range of attack is that. Slow, deliberate steps off over to the corner, trying to keep whatever it is that she's looking at in her line of sight, but keep her hidden behind whatever she can hide behind, whether that be boulders or blasted tree stumps, large mounds of dust. The point is to see but not be seen.
Perfect. As you're inching your way forward, you can feel not only the stares, the cautious looks of they're covering you from the tiers, but specifically Ozalise Raid's glowing amber eye. You can feel it burning a hole in the nape of your neck.
Not now.
Is there a part of you that's trying to impress them?
Lumièra will admit this to literally nobody. Not at all. She would actually rather meet Oblivion 7 times over 8 before she admits this out loud. She 100% is trying to impress Ozal. She understands where her position is. She understands where she's standing. The shoes, she's not quite filling, but she's still standing in them.
Lumièra, I need you to make me a survival check. You do not have situational advantage. You are not getting assistance from another character. Your knife is out to defend yourself, but it's not necessarily helping you investigate. So that is going to be 1d20.
Yeah, I'll do a survival check, even though I do have something else I could possibly use, but I'm gonna do a survival check.
Okay, you can bring that forward if you prefer, or you can take the survival check.
Well, I have archaeology, which allows me to investigate the history of a place by using a wit check instead.
Okay. I think if you're doing the wit check instead, no matter the
survival.
Result. Okay, because it's about looking instead of staying hidden.
Yeah.
If you're trying to stay hidden specifically and also get stuff out of it. Okay, let's make that 1d20 against your 10. We're trying to get a 10 or under.
That was 10 right on the dot. Fuck.
Kind of cutting it close.
Real close.
Kind of cutting it close.
Real close.
Okay.
Real
So
close.
this is what that barely just succeeded means. You inch forward slowly, using the natural terrain to your advantage. Careful not to disturb the dust too much in case something leaps out at you. And 10 feet beyond the sign, you draw close enough to the first pile or pool of whatever that substance is to see it in closer detail. It looks, in a word, at first like water. It glimmers and it shines on the surface of this dust. But there's something else about it too. It looks thicker than water, and whatever substance it's made of seems to be gently undulating. Even though there's no breeze right now to cause waves over the surface of a puddle, it's like the undulation is coming from deeper within. And you can see little tiny glowing neon points. Very, very barely glowing, almost as though the light itself were asleep. And you feel it on your periphery too. This isn't the only puddle of substance. There are more of them. You sense them now all around you. They're everywhere. Now that you're closer, your vantage point is better. There's so many piles of whatever this thing is. And as you get closer, I assume you've been breathing this whole time?
Yes.
Okay, as you exhale, and a little piece of dust nearby floats up due to your exhalation, drifts on the wind, and slowly settles on the surface of this nearest pool. And that's when the water comes to life. Seir! Xainan! Yinghe! Back in the rear guard, it is Bug now who has picked up the habit of kicking rocks. Every now and then, slamming their toe against a pebble and then looking longingly in the direction of the scouting party as they become tiny little figures in the near distance that seem to have stopped and are now looking at something. Yinghe, arms crossed, turns to you, Seir. I hope everyone's okay.
I'm nervous. And Seir's been like the long implement that he's been carrying around is sitting in his arm. And every time he's like pacing, it jingles. Like metallic rings are ringing against each other. And Seir's like tapping his foot and looks over to Yinghe and says, Nila, Yinghe. I don't know, it's too quiet. Do you think you could step over into that periphery and give me a shout if something goes wrong?
Of course. I'll make sure to cover all of our dead angles.
Yeah, thank you. I wish Xainan were out there with Lumièra.
Well, he's a good shot. He can maybe even nail something from all the way over here, despite the distance.
That's not what I'm worried about.
Yinghe's mouth tightens. They nod knowingly, but they begin to step off to the side anyway to widen your area of protection. And that's when Bug shouts excitedly, "Ooh, look, something's happening!"
Xainan has been standing at the highest point that he can find, with his rifle out, with the scope that Lumièra made for him on it. And his eyes have never left, not Azali's raid, but Lumièra.
And Xainan Esch, you and Bug notice at the same time, though you with far greater detail through the scope, something rising off of the dust, directly in front of Lumièra. Clouds? Vaporous, cloud-like creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dozen, perhaps more, hundreds of creatures rising in a living cloud, each with fan-shaped wings and dangling off of them long, thin tails. Each of these creatures has individual differences, and their sizes each vary, some as tiny as a barn swallow, others the size of a person. Like living kites. Some are shaped in bulbous and oblong formations, others are thin and whip-like serpentine, others are in a state of constant flux, but each and every single one of these creatures is defined by a central cluster of glowing neon gases, pulsating as though it were a star, as though it were an eye, as though it were a mouth, as though it were a heart, as though it were a brain. And this massive flock of whatever these creatures are rises so high you can see them even without your scope. A murmuration of them. And now we pan the 2 miles or so deep into this basin, this dusty basin, to find you, Lumièra, and the rest of the scouts with this surge of creatures all around you, and in one instance, they swarm and dive bomb all of you. So we're gonna enter combat. These creatures are the predator because they attack first, which means each of you are prey. How being prey works is I will roll for the creatures using their adversary dice, yes, because they have multiple, and you are going to try to beat their lowest roll in response. If you do not beat it, you will mark a hit point off. If you do beat it, then you defend yourself successfully. Let's do this. Okay, I rolled a lot, but their lowest was a 5. So we're looking to beat a 5. We are going to start with the one closest to the swooping, dive-bombing creatures. Lumièra, how do you try to defend yourself from their assault?
How are they, like, attacking? There's just, like, a dive bomb, like, kind of all at once. Is there, like, anything that's, like, latching out, grabbing onto people, like, causing more of a ruckus? Or is it just, like, fast-moving towards us?
At first, when they first come at you, when you have that split second of decision to decide what you want to do, it looks like a swarm of living balloons / kites / clouds that are just surging toward you. The outlines of each individual body are so vaporous that it's kind of hard to tell where one individual begins and another one ends. They're just surging at you as a living torrent.
But the only thing that's really kind of make-outable is that cluster of neon lights that kind of sits in the middle,
yes,
that operates like that. Yeah,
that is
each
correct.
one. Got it. Okay. I think in that split second, when everything's like, when they start to rise up from the ground, it's almost like a slow motion moment where Lumièra sees that movement of it rising and she turns and like yelps to the tears like go 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 and starts booking it. So I think as of right now her back is pretty much turned to them and she's hauling ass towards the rest of the tears.
That sounds like survival or grit to me. Grit if you're just trying to run as physically fast as possible. Survival if you're trying to use the landscape to also dodge and weave.
Survival, yeah. Again,
okay.
This is
great.
She's indeed a child of Artemis, just like the rest of Nova.
Okay, no
survival.
Situational advantage, no assistance from another character. Are you harnessing a tool or power to help you?
Right now,
or are you
no.
Just running for now?
I think she's just running for now.
That's 1d20. You're trying to beat a 5.
Cool. 2.
What the Okay, yes, as these creatures, I think you're able to kind of dive down and duck, and by sheer luck, or perhaps also happenstance and a little bit of Artemis's training kicking in from a deep part of your brain you've not had to activate in some time, you're able to dodge and weave. You can feel their wings, their butterfly-like wings, fan-shaped, billowing and buffeting you over your head. It's like being inside a dust storm again, as the dust around you swirls and picks up from the wind. But thankfully, none of them tag you. Though you feel some of them whoosh right past you, and now Zinnia, they're surging toward you. How do you defend yourself?
I think Zinnia instant reaction is to summon her shield. I think when something like this attacks fast, shield comes out because she knows she can protect other people as well.
Okay. Where does Zinnia summon the shield from? Would you say it's most from her wit, her charm, her grit, or her survival side?
Survival.
Okay, so that is going to be roll 1d20 for actually, it doesn't matter, because we're just trying to roll as many d20 as we can to beat a 5. My bad. You do not have situational advantage. You do not have assistance from another character. You are harnessing your power. So that is going to be 2d20, beating a 5.
Beautiful. Lumièra is so much like me. I got a 2.
Oh my god! Okay, what does your shield look like as it springs into existence barely fast enough to cover the first wave?
I think even it is similar to that giant shield of dust. But in this moment, I wait till Lumièra passes by. The second I know there are no other tiers directly in front of me, I pop the shield, and I think I risk one getting very close as the shield comes up instantly.
Perfect. Your shield is large enough to cover 2 other people, aside from Lumièra and yourself. Remaining are Libra, Ozzel, and Bagoon. Who do you leave out?
I leave out Ozzel's raid. They can handle themselves.
Okay. The shield springs to life, and as these creatures make contact with it, they don't splat against it or crumble and fall like a bird hitting a windshield. They just kind of almost like spreading across it like a cloud dissipating, goo-like almost, and they kind of painlessly and unharmed over the top of your shield and go around like droplets dispersing across a mirror, careening and freewheeling through the sky and through the air in an almost carefree way. Bagoon and Libra both hunker down immediately as the shield springs up. Ozzel's raid. Standing off to the side, as soon as these creatures rose, they had loaded their shotgun and are pointing it at the cloud, the swarm, the living cloud surging toward them. They do not move. They do not try to defend themselves. They just shoot. And as they do, we see them get dive-bombed by a small contingent of these creatures that in one instance, they just completely cover Ozzel's raid to the extent that you can't even see what's happening because there are so many animal bodies all around you, they vanish. But all of you do hear a loud bang, 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 intermittently ringing out across the basin. So they're definitely still alive enough to shoot. And now we pan back to the rear guard. Xainan, Bug, Jack, Dr. Wu, Saral, Yinghe, and Seir. You hear Ozzel's shotgun go off. You see the mob swarm the scouting party. And Yinghe turns back to face all of you and says, we need to go out there. We need to help them.
Shit. All right. Come.
Xainan has his rifle out. He saw this whole thing down his sight, and he doesn't fire. He sees Zinnia cover Lumièra and the others, and it's that shotgun blast sound that gives him pause, because it sounds like the echo of a shot in a cave. He puts his rifle down. We gotta go. Get him out of there.
All right. Everyone, we move as one unit. And Seir's already, like, packing up, like, helping Dr. Wu, helping, like, Nose Mama to, like, get in gear. And he's looking over to Bug, and he's just going, my back. You got it, right?
I got it. Nose Mama can go really fast when she's motivated. Come on, Nose Mama.
All right.
Let's go save the rest of our group.
And Bug places 2 fingers in their mouth and whistles, high-pitched. It rings out across the basin. And Nose Mama, completely perturbed by all of this chaos unfolding around her, finally lifts her ponderous head up, lets out a shakes the dust off of her scales, and starts to move forward, slowly at first, like a train gathering momentum. And Saral and Dr. Wu quickly climb onto Nose Mama's back, as with each step she goes faster and faster and faster, all of her feet thundering over this hard cracked basin. Her serpentine tail and body whipping side to side. And Seir, you book it on foot with Bug on your back, who is shouting, whooping, and hollering excitedly at the top of their lungs, despite how much attention that might attract. Xainan, do you hop on Nose Mama's back, or do you run alongside Seir and Bug?
Xainan hops on Nose Mama's back, and as he does, he puts his rifle under his arm.
Okay.
And he is climbing towards the front of Nose Mama to try and be the front guard for the people on Nose Mama.
Okay, you are able to maneuver yourself to the front, past Dr. Wu, past Saral, and toward the back is Jack, who has their crossbow out. They're kind of the rear guard of their rear guard, also on top of Nose Mama. And Ying He is running stride by stride with Seir next to Bug. And it does not take very long, even as you start hustling and moseying your way over to the scouting party, for all of you to notice about half of the swarm fluttering through the sky break off from the rest of their compatriots and start to slowly, at first, it looks like, drift and balloon their way in your direction, but it becomes very apparent very quickly that despite their graceful motions, they are moving very, very, very quickly. And within moments, half of the swarm is upon you, now dive bombing each of you. So I need all of you as well to make your combat rolls, please. I'm going to roll separately for the rear guard because it's a different group of creatures.
That's nice.
That's
That's
fine.
nice of you. That's nice of you.
Is it nice?
That's
Is it
so
nice of you?
violent, Connie.
Connie's gonna be like, beat a one.
Right?
Honey is like, die.
So you do need, in fact, to beat a 1 on this. As these
Fucking
I was having funny haha time, Connie.
surge at you. As you decide how you want to defend yourselves, as these creatures draw closer, you hear Saral exclaim, not only in fear, but also in excitement and exhilaration. Oh my goodness! It's razor kites! Oh, it's a swarm of razor kites! Oh, I never thought I'd
You
see
need to
them
be
in
less
the flesh.
excited.
Razor
They're
kites!
endemics in this mountain range! That's right! And you have heard the term before, Xainan, though you've never encountered razor kites yourself. You know that they are creatures, insects, birds, that belong to the far north of Keseki. That's pretty much all you know. But as they draw closer and closer, faster and faster, Saral is enthusiastically exclaiming, "Oh my goodness! Wow! I can't believe they're still here, but I guess that makes sense. They are quite infamous for their ability to enter a state of cryptobiosis, and oh, there are so many of them! Hundreds! There must be
Saral!
hundreds! This is amazing! Oh, but it's
Saral.
okay, they're mostly harmless.
What do they
kind
eat?
Well, they're opportunistic predators, so they eat pretty much anything they can overwhelm. But as
Where
long as
the
there aren't too many
opportunity?
of them. And as they surge closer, the last thing you hear before they overtake you is Dr. Wu saying, "Wait, where's the queen?" So how do each of you try to defend yourselves?
Seir bites the inside of his mouth. This is not how he wanted to unveil his gift to Bug. He wanted to have ceremony, he wanted to have ritual, just like Artemis did for him. When he was given the Crescent Blades. And Seir, I think, like, shoves his shoulder in a way that indicates to Bug it's time to get off. As soon as Bug gets off, Seir pulls this long implement from behind his back that's strapped to him and looks to Bug and says, "Hey, Cricket! Are you watching?
I can't help but!
All right, focus!" And he's going to remove the canvas off of this and reveal a monk spade. on one end of this darkened steel is this wide blade that looks like a shovel, and on the other end is a curved blade that looks like a crescent moon. We see that on the wide spade end, there are 3 rings on either side that jingle, meant to terrify more subtle, more terrified creatures in Kaseki. And on the other side is this very, very sort of like controlled, sharpened blade meant to pin, hurt, and attack. And it is long. It is big, maybe too big for Bug. But that's because it's meant for Bug to grow into. And we see Seir kind of like unveil it with a flourish. And I'm going to use the Monk Spade to demonstrate to Bug how to use it, as well as to cut through the swarm as much as possible.
Perfect. You hear Bug let out a,
Oh, that thing is so cool! That's what's been under there this whole time!
and then the razor kites are upon you. So you're using this tool to, I assume, protect Bug and kind of keep them off of you?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, that is going to be, you have no situational advantage, you have no assistance from another character, you are harnessing a relevant tool or power, so that is 2d20.
2d20 and I have to beat a 1. All right.
That's right.
That's good. Let's go.
No fucking
No
way.
way.
No fucking way. What the hell is happening?
2 1s, baby!
No, now it's on to me to fail. That's my job.
My creatures kill you!
It's my job to fail.
Kill you!
Okay, Xainan, I need you to
I know.
die.
Okay, I need you to. Honey, I'll do my job. It's fine. I'll do my job. It's fine.
I'm taking a picture of this.
Seir, how do you expertly, flawlessly enter the zone and perfectly protect Bug and yourself from this dive-bombing swarm of razor kites?
Xainan and Yinghe, you've never seen Seir wield any other weapon than the crescent blades, let alone a polearm. And we see Seir like hunger himself low. He spins the Monk Spade in his hands, and we see him do several revolutions through his wrists and his body to cut through and weave past each and every one of these razor kites that are swarming past him. And each time he's doing this, he keeps looking over at Bug and he goes, "You have to make a choice. Every single time you use this blade, are you going to hurt or are you going to control? Every single move is a choice. Are you listening?"
Yeah. And Bug's eyes are wide, looking at this whirlwind of not just violence, but purposeful, intentional movement that you weave in a dome of protection around yourself and Bug as these creatures, these kites. Not only do you defend yourself, you manage to get a few of them too, as the sharp end whisks through the air because you got 2 1s. You see one cut through the, not fibrous, the almost gas-like wing of one. It just slices through it like it's a plastic bag. But instead of bleeding or anything like that, it just kind of whee off to the side like a kite with a rupture in its membrane and just whee along the wind and just careens out of the rest of the swarm. You get a few of them like this, and you can see flashing neon gases pulsating brighter and brighter in interest, drawn to apparently the jingling sound of the bells and iron attachments you have. They seem quite attracted to the commotion that you are currently making. What
A
about
fun
you,
detail that
Xainan?
I will add.
Oh,
sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
A fun detail I'll add is that all of the like main elements that are holding the blades are from Seir's antlers that he wore on his belt and bandolier. And those, so it has the antlers and the bells. Yeah, Xainan, your turn. Please help me.
Fucking.
All right, Xainan, how do you try to defend yourself and the rest of the people on Nose Mama's back?
Dr. Wu and Saral have been showing Xainan everything that he's longed for since they've come to Kaseki this time, that he didn't know he wanted. And he'll be damned if Saral is killed by a swarm of razor kites as she admires them. So, Xainan cannot bring himself to shoot them. There's just this constant voice, a face in the shape of Yinghe's disappointment flashing before his eyes. So he does something he hasn't done in quite a while. He remembers defending against the Forge Master in the City of Heaven. And he begins to call the molten metal to form a flower shield over the front of Nose Mama to try and deflect as many of them as he can. And as he does, he calls on more power in him than he has maybe ever called on since that day, because he's going to protect Dr. Wu and Sorrel and Nose Mama.
Okay, I like that a lot. You do not have situational advantage. You do not have assistance. You are harnessing a power. So that's 2d20, beating a 1.
I am also harnessing technically my tool.
Oh, You know, it's... Go ahead.
It's technically... And I'll let you just swap it 1 for 1, that's fine. But technically, the cracks of molten creation are his tool.
Okay, so you're harnessing your tool, but not your power. You can only do one at a time.
Yeah,
you only get one bonus at a time.
boss.
Okay, so that is a 2d20.
Well, Connie, I thought I'd make it up to you by rolling a natural 20.
Okay.
Can I tell Connie to get fucked one more time? Is that what you're telling me? Is what you're telling me right now? Oh.
No, I rolled a natural 20. It's the opposite. I gave Connie a present.
Yes! And I assume the other one didn't make the cut either.
No.
Okay.
Every time I leave your ass alone. Every fucking time I leave your
Listen,
ass alone.
there are things that I'm way better at that I'm not doing right now because I don't want to kill these things.
Now?
That's
what you have a change of heart now?
Xainan, what does it look like as you summon the molten creation within your scars, within your grief, and attempt to make a shield?
They sputter. It's not like when he called on the dust before, on the molten creation before and it became dust. It's not like that this time. It depends also on his vision, his clarity, and right now, his clarity is flooded from a door busted open that was supposed to be a dam. And that molten creation just melts, fusing into Nose Mama's scales and vanishing. It does nothing. And he is left just trying to body these razor kites.
That's true. Thankfully, you are in front of Sorrel and Dr. Wu, which means you take the brunt of the attack of the swarm. As the molten creation bubbles and fails, sloughing off of the front of Nose Mama's nose, these living balloons, these alive and lucent clouds, dive bomb and mob you. And at first, all you can feel is the pressure of their wings and the gust of wind flowing past you. And there is a brief moment where it doesn't hurt at all. And then, all at once, it does. It's like bathing in fiberglass. Thousands and thousands of microscopic barbs, each as sharp as razor wire, cut into your flesh, your hat, your hair, your clothes, rend through your survivor's outfit as though it were made of nothing but spider silk. I need you to take 1 hit point off of, just mark it off, mark that hit point off as you are rended, and most of the razor kites that swoop past you just kind of bomb you and just move past, but a few of them start to stick on you, like large leaflets covering your body, each one gouging deeply into your skin as though their entire body were a lamprey's mouth, and they start to feast on your blood. There's one on your shoulder, one on your gut, one on your leg, and you can see as, you don't know where their mouth is, but it's almost like their entire body is a living mouth. And as you feel your blood getting leached and sucked out of your body, you can see their own translucent bodies filling with your blood, Xainan. with your mortal crimson blood, filling them up. And you see their stars, their brains, their hearts pulsating happily as they feed.
Connie, are you okay?
I'm back in the fucking building again.
Because now we pan over to you, Lumièra.
No, we
behind
don't.
Zinnia's shield. You can sense above your head the swarm splitting off, and now it's your turn to act. Scouting group first. What do you do?
Shit. Man, I have to assess the situation first. I have to glance around what it is that we're looking at, take in what they're doing. More specifically, I'm paying attention to what they're doing to Ozzel. Ozzel's the closest that they are to me. So they look terrifying for the most part, but at this point, harmless. So what are they doing to Ozzel?
To Ozzel. Okay, you scan the battlefield, and you see the group of razor kites that had flooded and swarmed Ozzel. They kind of flutter past, and you see Ozzel's raid still standing there, but there are a few of these creatures on various parts of their body. There's one at the side of their neck, there's one on their right leg, and there's one on their left calf, and you see that all of their clothes look torn, shredded, like they were fed through a paper shredder, and they're bleeding just all over their body. They're just drenched in blood, and you can see these creatures that are on them are starting to they're kind of pulsating almost on top of their body and filling with Ozzel's raid's own blood. They're feeding off of them. Ozzel is still standing, but they don't look great. They are completely bloodied. Their shotgun is up. Their hand is not wavering. They're continuing to shoot.
What a bad bitch. Damn. I think when Lumièra sees that, like, over the commotion, she lets the rest of the scouting party know exactly what they're doing and what they will do once they pass over us. So now it's a matter of, they're so fast. And her eyes quirk just briefly, watching the speed in which they move. And she looks back at Ozzel. They don't know I can move faster. And I have to get the rest of us out of here. I can tend to wounds after. I gotta put the tears in a liminal.
Okay. All of the tiers in the scouting party, yes, you try to construct a liminal around them?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So with your time magic, you draw on your wit, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now, because you are acting, you are on the offense, we are making rolls according to your stats. So, when summoning your liminal, you do not have situational advantage. You're not getting assistance from another character, but you are harnessing a relevant power in this instance. It is at least a 2d20.
Cool.
We're trying to beat a 12.
8 and a 2.
That happens? Okay. What does it look like as you summon, you pull upon this well of innate magic within your soul, and you summon a liminal that springs around the tears?
I think it happens in almost bullet time for the rest of the tiers. Lumièra kind of breaks out from underneath Zinnia and her shield and kind of makes her way through the tiers to be the direct center point between Ozzel and the rest of us. And just as quickly as she stands directly in the middle, you see her center herself, her hands go out and flourish in front of her. Zinnia, around you, you see translucent, glimmering, gold, almost like incorporeal clock gears that shoot up around you, and each of their sides coincide and link together completely, forming a bubble that sits around you. Noise from the outside kind of gets dulled and muffled, and everything moves to slow motion. You are now the fastest thing that's moving in this spot right here now. And you see her directly in the middle, concentrating, but looking like she's not even breaking a sweat.
Zinnia, it has been a long time since you've been a syndicate agent, but even now, seeing this time magic spring around you, you recall a patron saint's voice in your ear, speaking offhandedly about forbidden magic. This magic had not been allowed at the syndicate. It's dangerous. And Lumièra, you succeed. A dome of a liminal springs around you as you hold it in perfect focus. Everything around you seems to almost stop, but it's not that. It's that you and everyone around you inside this dome is just so much faster. And there's a moment of victory, a moment of success as you protect the tiers around you. You prove your worth, not just to Azali's raid, but to everyone inside your vicinity.
I need us to move.
And then you feel it. Her eyes. Lumièra. The one single eye which also contains infinite multitudes. No, not infinite. What is the opposite of infinity? An empty, numberless vastness of eyes, all pinned and looking down at you.
Not the time.
She's coming closer. She has come closer, drawn to your magic like a lighthouse.
Fuck.
Oblivion. The pressure of her notice is immense, more than that of a god. The closest comparison was when it was just you and fate in the chamber of the Prime Oracle. An immense weight, a looking down, a visceral pressure pressing down on you on all sides.
The liminal warbles, just a bit. It shakes, some of it comes apart, but just as quickly as it comes apart again, it seals right back up. I think the crack in it at that point in time lets in sound from the outside before it quickly gets muffled again as she seals it back up. I need us to move, I need us to move, I need us to move now!
Zinnia, we pan to you.
How many razor kites are inside of this liminal?
There are hundreds outside. When it had warbled, a few got in. Maybe half a dozen, slightly more.
Easy. Okay. So, there is a special something that Zinnia keeps only for monsters. If you forget, alongside Showstopper and Rapture, she has a specific green dagger that is in near pristine condition. She only breaks out for special occasions, and this is one of those times. How fast do they move?
They're quite fast. They're like living kites. They swoop and dive, like birds.
Okay. Inside of the liminal, though.
Yes, they're moving at the same pace as all of you. So they're moving at the regular rate, as though there were no liminal at all.
I think she can still handle it. She's going to absolutely... firing a shotgun in here is too reckless. Anything else? She knows how to use this dagger. She's used it more times than she'd like to have. So I think she's just going to try to stab as many that she can.
Okay, is this grit? I assume you're using your pure physical strength. Okay, you do not have... Well, situational advantage, no, but you are getting assistance from another character. I will count the liminal as assistance in this time. You're basically cage fighting these things. They are in your territory, so I will give you the assistance. You are harnessing a relevant tool / power, so that is 3d20. You're trying to beat a what? What is your grit?
10.
A 10. Okay, we're looking for 10 and under.
We got a 4.
That is a success! What does it look like as you use this green dagger to hunt down the stray razor kites?
I think there is a shift that happens in Zinnia. Instantly, the second there was enemies, there was a chance that people could start dying. Zinnia goes from almost passive and ready for defense to full-on attack. I think it is simple as, does she see one? It is almost instantly deleted. She moves with a quickness and a viciousness that you see only comparable to Asli's raid. I think knowing that she will still take like a million small cuts from these, that does not bother her. She can heal herself afterwards. So she drives the dagger into and through each and every one she can reach. And I think by the time she's done, her arm, she used her left arm for this, is just covered in blood.
Oh, yeah, I like that. You're just cutting through them as though they were literal plastic bags. You slash one entirely in half. When that happens, its body splits in two and kind of drifts off, but the central neon gas is now exposed to the air, and it kind of flutters there, vibrates with light as though it were lightning shooting through a thundercloud, and then the gas dissipates. That one dies. And the two pieces of its body just kind of float like tissue paper down to the ground. You slash through a couple of other ones, damaging them enough to make them not a threat anymore, and wholesale just killing the others, just slashing them out of existence. Perfectly and immaculately protecting your party within this liminal from the attack and mobbing and dive bombing of these razor kites. But now, our rear guard. As you survive this initial swarm, you can feel the torrent of them coming back up as they start to rise into the air and descend for another dive bomb, but there is something else in dire need of your attention. As Nose Mama continues running and hurtling her way over to the scouting party, which all of you now see has been encased in a dome of some sort, and there is very fast activity within that dome that is so hard for the mortal eye to track. In the near distance, a mountain of dust off to the east of the Erebor estate rises like a tsunami of desiccated flakes. It rises. No, it is not the dust that is alive, but the thing underneath it. And the razor kite queen surfaces up into the air, shaking off dust from her massive wings like they were glimmering particles from a monarch's outstretched limbs. Each of her wings is easily the length of a train car. And the star in her body, no, not just the star, the stars that comprise her body, there are well over 24 of them, glowing points of neon gas, and they all begin to fluctuate, pulse, and turn a bright, angry crimson. And she flaps her wings once, flaps it twice, and each buffets a massive gust of tornado-like wind up into the air before the rest of the swarm rises up, leaving your party behind, and joins her on either side. And with her drones beside her, the razor kite queen descends. And we're gonna cut the break there. Thank you all so much for tuning in so far to this installment of the Chaos Protocol Arc 4. We will be back in just about 10 minutes. Everyone, please go drink some water. God knows I need to drink some water. Have a snack, stretch your body, take a bio. We will be back in 10. Enjoy our sponsor reel. Spijo.
Howdy, Transplay nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay! Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today. Hello, Transplay nerds! You know what time it is. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we're collaborating with the Working Families Party, who are building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. You might be thinking, why does a political party care about a queer tabletop show? As it turns out, the Working Families Party believes in the power of fandom to effect positive political change in the real world. So do we. As a Transplay nerd, you're no stranger to just how political our show can be, and how our stories are never just fiction. In fact, let's take an action together right now by signing a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This cause means a lot to us personally, as indie actual play performers fighting censorship, telling authentic stories, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. So let's build a better future together.